Hi there! My name is Evelyne and I'm a Scientific Regulatory Affairs Manager. Usually I deal with biostimulants and biopesticides for the European zone, and today I want to talk to you about regulatory zones. If you deal with biopesticides or pesticides in Europe, you might know that there are actually 3 zones which are called regulatory zones, and these are the northern, the central and the southern zone. You might wonder where that came from, and actually it was in
Can't say the word, huh?
an initiative years ago from the European Union to say we share the work. So the idea behind having 3 regulatory zones was that member states could share the work in evaluating dossiers for the authorization of pesticides. The way it works is that so if you want to apply for an authorization for your pesticide in Europe, you have to select a zonal rapporteur member state, as it's called, or ZRMS. And if you want to include other countries in your authorization, you can then select concerned member states. The difference is that the zonal rapporteur member state will evaluate the dossier and the concerned member states will not evaluate the dossier in principle. However, they will have a look and there will be what they call a commenting period where the concerned member states will then look at the evaluation of the zonal rapporteur member state. They would exchange and then the zonal rapporteur finalizes the evaluation of the dossier. It also means that when you apply for an authorization, for instance, in the central zone, you have to select a rapporteur member state that will do the job for the entire zone. And you also have to think about who you will include as concerned member states. There will be a special video on how to play this zonal rapporteur member state, concerned member state thing. Check out our comment box down below. Mind you, there is one important detail. These different regulatory zones are mostly relevant for field users or outdoor users. Watch out that certain member states also have national guidance on certain or very specific topics, for instance bees, the evaluation of toxicity to bees. And when you prepare a dossier, you have to know this in advance and to check this out. It's a very important point. One other element is, and these again, they are handled differently in the different zones. It also means that for indoor users, greenhouse users or other applications which take place in confined halls, they would be dealt with in an interzonal way, meaning that you can have your rapporteur member state in Sweden, for instance, for the northern zone, and it would still be accepted by, for instance, Greece, which is southern zone. As mentioned earlier, these different regulatory zones have different guidance documents for various parts of the dossiers, for instance, EPPO or ecotox, meaning that depending on where you apply or where you have your dossier evaluated, different guidance will apply. And also you have to watch out that certain member states also have national guidance on certain or very specific topics, for instance bees, the evaluation of toxicity to bees. And when you prepare a dossier, you have to know this in advance and to check this out. It's a very important point. Another element is that major users dealt with at a zonal level and minor users are dealt with at a national level. What is the difference, or what is the impact? Well, the impact is that when it's dealt with at the zonal level, the evaluation documents will be accessible for all member states in the European Union. At national level, however, it will be only available for the member state at stake. Now, it becomes very interesting because for efficacy trials, there are 4 EPPO zones. Unfortunately, they do not exactly coincide with the regulatory zones. 4 zones, which are the maritime zone, usually abbreviated as MAR. You have the Mediterranean zone, usually abbreviated as MED. You have the Northeastern zone, usually abbreviated as NE, and the Southeastern zone, usually abbreviated as SE. As I said, they do not fully coincide with the regulatory zones, and therefore when you prepare or before you prepare your dossier and when you have selected your zonal rapporteur member state, you will discuss with that member state from which countries or from which EPPO zones they will accept efficacy trials for the dossier. In our next video, we will speak about major and minor uses because that also has a link to the regulatory zones, and I will explain to you which one that is. If you like our videos and if you have ideas for other topics, please like, subscribe, forward to others as you see fit, and I see you next time. Thank you very much. Bye for now.